Hello and welcome to the Liverpool Way podcast. Following a 3-0 win at Leicester that keeps alive the slim prospect of a place in next season's Champions League. It was a win truly made in Liverpool as local lads Curtis Jones and the magnificent Trent Alexander-Arnold delivered 3 beautifully taken goals, all ably assisted by Mo Salah. The resistance put up by the doomed Foxes was minimal, but this was a near flawless performance from the Reds, unless you count the fact it nudged Everton a little bit closer to safety. I'm Chris Smith, and to discuss this one, I've got Julian Richards and TLW editor Dave Usher, who's still absolutely seething with Brighton a week on. Dave, while you stew over there, I'm going to come to Jules. So, Jules, I'm just about emotionally recovering from those scenes in the away end with Bobby there, but what did you make of all that? After some horrendous away days this season, it seems things are kind of coming together, but perhaps a little bit too late.
Yeah, it seems like we've put our form together about 2 games too late. If there were another 2 games left in the season, I reckon we might be able to snatch a top 4 spot. But I just think that we need too many drop points from the other 2 teams. So one of them might drop one. I could see United dropping 3, or or 1 point, or Newcastle dropping. But I don't think combined, or we'll have enough from one of them to catch them. But we seem to be more coherent now. We seem to have a plan again. We seem to be more watertight at the back. We're still not off free-flowing best that we were last season, but I figured from the Bournemouth game on, the rest of this season was just about trying to put something together and momentum. I know Dave went Everton before they sort of bushwhacked Brighton was like ambivalent about what this game would mean, but for me it's just about winning every game now till the end of the season, putting momentum, confidence back in the players, a rebuild in the summer, a full summer off, and then hopefully a much better season next year. And there's some positive signs in there. It looks, I've voiced my I can't think of the word, but I'm not sure about whether Curtis Jones would be a viable long-term member of the squad, but since he's been in the team and he's played every game, he's really put it together, culminating those 2 goals tonight. Good finishes on both of them, different types of finishes as well. It's really good to see. We've made jokes about it'll be an Echo headline about how he can save the club millions of pounds or whatever. I still think we need all the midfielders, but I also think Curtis now has a real chance of cementing a spot in the new look midfield going forward. Trent again tonight, just playing like a kid on a school playground, or on a Saturday kickabout. Just playing with the world was on his shoulders earlier in the season when we weren't doing well, but now he's sort of playing with absolute freedom about where to go in that middle, roam. The balls he's playing, the goal he scored tonight was outstanding. I'll leave Dave talk to you about that one though, because he can smell himself on that one. Yeah, I was gonna deny that you did it, that you called it, Dave, but that's good. No, he never said that. But no, I'd proper drop you in it. But yeah, it's enjoyable watching us again. I'd say it's still not there, but at least you look at it now and you go, no, right, I can see we're definitely out of the darkness. And we're on our way back to where we should be. It's just now about putting it all together at the end of the season. I'm not the most optimistic of people when we start games, but I was pretty confident. Yeah, I know, it shocked you there. I know, but I was pretty confident we'd beat Leicester. I think they're done as a Premier League team, and not before time if their fans want to carry on being like they behave when they play us. I couldn't give a shit about them. So yeah, as Klopp would say, all good.
Yeah. Dave, I know you've almost surrendered the dream of Everton going down for this year. I've felt really sad for you all week. just really, really upset for you. But after watching that meek Leicester side, it's clear here that our Obi-Wan Kenobi, the only hope in this situation is actually Jabba the Hutt. It's Big Sam himself. What do you think?
Yeah. And whatever hideous alien you want to call Steve Cooper. We're relying on those 2, aren't we?
It's uncalled for.
I know, I feel bad because I like Steve Cooper, but
he's Bib Fortuna.
Yeah, crossed with Jar Jar Binks. He's kind of like some kind of hybrid. But yeah, I mean, I had absolutely no qualms whatsoever about wanting us to twat them tonight. There's no conflict. I know I said earlier in the season about that Southampton game. If that would have been like the key to where Everton going down or us getting in the top four, I would have happily just waved goodbye to top four for the Southampton game. I didn't feel like that at all over tonight's game. I just wanted us to batter them. Leicester, to me, they blew it when they played Everton the other week. I watched that game, and I know Leicester missed a penalty, so you could say Everton got away with it. Everton didn't get away with it that night. Everton should have won. They outplayed Leicester. And Leicester just looked fucking awful. I'm like, if a game like that, if you've got to win that game, that was a massive game for them against Everton, and they played like that, just wide open at the back, terrible on set pieces, just all over the place positionally when they haven't got the ball. And then they followed it up by getting snotted everywhere by Fulham. I knew we'd win tonight. There was never any doubt that we were going to win that game tonight, no matter which Liverpool turned up tonight. The Liverpool that lost at Forest and who got beat at home by Leeds and who lost at Bournemouth, that Liverpool would still beat Leicester because Leicester is so bad at the back. And we never got out of second gear tonight. I thought we did exactly what we needed to do. Good performance without ever really having to break sweat. 3-0, really, if we'd have needed to score more goals, we would have scored more goals there because it was just wide open for us. Leicester, but they're just fucking shit. I mean, they have got good players, but the good players are all in attacking areas. Well, yeah, they've got, put it this way, when they go down, there'll be a load of Premier League clubs looking at a lot of their players. I'm not saying the top players who are going to go to like Champions League clubs, although maybe Maddison might have a shot at that. But the likes of Maddison, Tielemans, Harvey Barnes, Premier League clubs are going to be taking them. So it's not like they've got a team full of Championship players. They have got good players, but defensively they're just terrible. And I think a lot of that is not specifically about their players. I think a lot of it's just down to, Brendan never got them set up for set pieces. They were conceding goals from corners all the time. And why they made that managerial change, God only knows. I mean, bringing like Dean Smith in to inspire you to stay up, that's just never going to work, is it? I mean, they've actually got worse since he's come in. So yeah, we were always winning that game, never a doubt about it. And there was no conflict in my mind at all. I wanted us to just go there and batter them because in my mind they're already down. Southampton's gone. In my mind, when they didn't beat Everton, you knew, okay, Leicester are in big trouble now. So yeah, Leicester are down. The only hope we've got is Forest and Leeds, and it's a very, very forlorn hope, to be honest. That's the way I see it. But I do think we've got a better than 50-50 chance of getting in the top four. I just think win our games, and I think that'll be enough because one or both of the teams.
That Brighton game on Thursday, right? That's the key.
Well, don't start me on Brighton.
Your boys.
Which one, Dave? Which one do you think? Who's our mark here? Do you think it's Newcastle or Man United?
Both. Honestly, I don't trust either of them to get the points. I look at them. I think Newcastle are a better side than United, but they've not been here before, and they're having a little bit of a wobble. I think that's maybe a bit harsh because they got beat by Arsenal, but Arsenal's a better team than them. Then they've drawn at Leeds, but Leeds are fighting for their lives, so it's a tricky game. But they've not been here before, and it can do strange things to you. I keep thinking back to, do you remember like when we had the Champions League spot completely sewn up, and then we didn't score in any of the last 5 games, and we fucking blew it? Do you remember? I think it was Julian's first season, and he brought.
Was that when we lost to?
He brought Heskey in halfway through the season. Dropped Titi Kamara, who was on fire.
Is it Bradford? It's Bradford, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bradford, the last game. Yeah,
and they stayed up.
We just blew it, and you think Newcastle haven't been there before. It's a big thing for them to be getting in the Champions League. You don't know how they're going to react, because the games they've got, they're not straightforward. Oh, they'll definitely win type of games. There's potential for them to lose all of those games.
Yeah, all of them look a little bit fishy, don't they?
Yeah,
like the Brighton, and then who knows? We might get one last.
It's Leicester next Monday for them, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah. It's away though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You can't rely on Chelsea.
You don't know what's going to happen with any of those games. I mean, the fact that we're relying on Lampard is a bit of a worry because they're playing United as well. And
I mean, they let Forest take a point away from home.
Yeah, I know, but I just look at that and think it's like them going to Old Trafford. It's a high profile game. Chelsea have got a load of like experienced big game players. They might have been shit for months. They might have like a total clown in charge. But they're good players who can perform on a big stage, and they might just turn it on. It might just click for them. Moments of quality from individual players. There's potential there for Chelsea to do something in both of those games. So I do think there's a better than 50-50 chance that we'll end up in the top four. But we've just got to win our games and then see what happens. But yeah, I'm quite confident.
United are away at Bournemouth, and I've got Fulham at home. I don't know.
Yeah, but Fulham are like a weird team. Fulham can beat anybody on the day. And
maybe they'll want to beat them because of the FA Cup semi.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They've got a massive beef. Mitrovic will be back, and with a score to settle. I wouldn't like Fulham off in that game at all. The only thing is United's home record is pretty good. But away from home, so the away game's Bournemouth, is it?
Yes, next
Bournemouth
Saturday.
away and Fulham at home. Yeah, well, see, Bournemouth, it'll be their last home game, so they're going to want to sign off with like a good performance. It's not an easy place to go, as we know.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you could talk yourself into all of it, couldn't you, Chris?
Yeah. All right. Should we talk a little bit about tonight's game then? It was a little bit of an even start. We were getting nothing from the referee early on. There was a little exchange where Maddison fouled Diaz, didn't get it, and then there was Maddison pulled off a slightly more convincing fall and got the free kick with the same two players. And then there was that one where Johnny Evans scythed Gakpo down when he was running through towards goal and about to get a shot away and got nothing from that. And it just looked like it might be one of those nights with the referees and stuff. But equally, we didn't look too threatened. There was only kind of one chance really. When the right side was wide open, it ended up as a chance for Vardy, and he was smothered by Alisson really well. But then from then on, it got to almost the half an hour stage, and we go ahead, deservedly so in the end. And it's a nice little goal as well, a long ball from Alisson, and then Wout Faes, who continued his clown show against us this year, nodded it up in the air and ended up with Hendo, laid it off to Mo, and then a really nice cross to the back post, and another back post finish for Curtis, just like the one he got against Forest the other week, Jules. So good to see him getting on the score sheet as well as making a good impact all around the field.
Yeah, it is a goal scoring midfielder as well. It's not something we've been blessed with recently. Just really pleased for him. Paul's been banging the Curtis Jones drum for many years, so he'll be more pleased than anybody. But it's just nice to have the energy and drive, and he's getting into these positions in most games now. And you can see I sound like a cliche pundit, you can see the confidence is there, but you can see the confidence. He is that second goal is the mark of a player playing with confidence, and that looked onside to me and straight away, because you could see the heel of the defender's boot. Yeah, and then they did the replay on the VAR, and they pulled it back further, and I was like, oh no, he might be offside. And then I was thinking, hang on, didn't Salah play him through? This isn't Salah. Why are you showing this one? And I think the VAR must have realised, hang on, why am I showing this one? It's Salah who plays the final ball. It doesn't matter where he is until Salah has it. And then it was well timed. It's one of those, because most of his body is further forward, but the defender's heel is the thing that plays him on. But again, the mark of confidence there was just a great finish, great touch, great finish. I'd be interested to see I don't know who's coming in the summer. And I don't know, Curtis's problems has been injuries, and he's been getting them in training camps at the start of seasons, and he's missed the start of seasons, and he's playing catch up.
Yeah.
If he can stay fit, which is a big if, unfortunately, but let's say he stays fit, it will be an interesting question about whether he will be in the starting lineup when we kick off next August, because right now in these games, this run of games, we've won 7 in a row now. It's the second or third best winning streak of any team this season. We just everyone goes on about Man City have won 11 on the row, and you go, yeah, fucking hell, that's cheats. And then you go, we've won 7 in a row. You go, Yeah, spot on. That's exactly how it's done. But he's contributed so much, and he's grown so much in the role. Right now, if you're writing the team out for next year, if it's lining up in this style, I think he gets in ahead of whoever we're signing. He's made that much of an impression.
Yeah, well, especially because whoever comes in an ideal world, you want to bed them in slowly. That's what Klopp's generally tended to do. So if you don't need to rush them and put them straight in the team, if you've got Curtis fit and available, which, as you said, it's a big if because bad things tend to happen to him in pre-season for some reason. But, if he's fit and the way he's ended the season, there's no need to change that. You go with that, and then the new players have got to earn the spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, hopefully we'll have him on some kind of... We'll be aware of the fact that pre-seasons haven't tended to go well for him, and we'll have him on some kind of regime throughout the summer that's gonna keep him, nice and fit heading into the new season. But I'm not sure I'd be overly chuffed if he's our first choice de facto going into next season. I do think we need perhaps a little bit more quality in that position. As our number one go-to option,
Look at it this way, then. I know what you're saying, and I don't disagree. But of the spots available in midfield, I think he's done more to nail down his spot than, say, Hendo, for example, on that right hand side. I think the first position that you're looking at is not necessarily Curtis. It's more so the right hand side.
Yeah, perhaps.
I also think Fabinho had a really, really, really good game tonight, just on the quiet. Nothing flashy, but just everything he did was just really good. He's a bit of a conundrum because I think he's played pretty well now for a few months, since the first leg of the Real Madrid game. And I probably had written him off. I maybe not 100% written him off, but in my head I'm like, yeah, that's the first thing we've got to do is look at Fabinho. Get a mobile number 6 and that. And I still think we need to do that. But he has played well for a few months now, and I thought he had a really good game tonight. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. Did you see Klopp said after the game when he was asked about Bobby, and he was saying there'll be several players saying goodbye. Now, obviously, he might be including Ox and Keita, which...
He probably is.
None of us really are particularly asked about saying goodbye to them, but it did just make me think, is there maybe a couple who we're not necessarily expecting? But yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, we're not going to know, are we? So we're not going to know if we're saying goodbye to those players or not, which means, if Fabinho does leave, we don't know that he's leaving and he's not going to get a send-off, and he would deserve one because he's been a great player for us. But it's not something that they announce. We've seen that before with other players. But we know that Bobby's going, Milner probably. They'll probably announce that, won't they? Because Klopp's not...
I hope so.
He's not officially said, but he more or less confirmed it without confirming it, that Milner was going to Brighton. But I think they need to confirm that before the game, just to give him the proper send-off.
Sure, definitely. Just to pivot back to who is going to be there for us next season, we started with the front three that I've been wanting to see start a game for a while now, with Diaz on the left, Cody through the middle, and Mo on the right. I was really excited to see that before the game. I thought it worked pretty well. I thought it was sort of back to the Sadio days where he was leading the press on the left-hand side. I thought Diaz did that really well tonight. Mo with 3 assists, and Gakpo should have probably got himself on the score sheet at some point during the game tonight, because he's picking the ball up in those deep positions and driving towards goal. Had a couple of moments where he could have taken it a little bit further and got a shot away, and a couple of moments where he just took one too many touches. But there was, just after we got the second, there was a real great opportunity for us to make it 3-0, almost straight from the kickoff for the second, really. And Mo feeds it into him, and it's kind of a poor finish, really. And I said to you guys in the chat that it's kind of a shame that Mo didn't lay it off to Curtis, who was
he did.
He was running through equally.
Curtis was just waiting to take that, and Gakpo took it right off his toe. I think Mo probably was playing it to Curtis, because when you watch it back, because when you said that, I was thinking, and then I seen the replay, I'm like, actually, Curtis is ready to just take that in stride, and Gakpo just comes in front of him and takes it. But the front three thing, I agree about Diaz, with the press and all that, but I thought, the first half, Diaz was appalling. It's everything he tried to do just didn't come off. He just looked rusty, just never got into it. But I'd still be starting him every game because I just think he makes such a difference to us, just like his energy and just like the directness. But Gakpo, yeah, I agree with everything you said there, but I felt like he just was holding on to it a little bit too long, just taking one extra touch and then getting tackled or fouled or whatever. But where was my boy tonight? And that's not a good look. He misses a game with like a minor toe injury. Now, I've got two thoughts on this. The first is this the sports science people just dictating again and saying, no, he's got a bit of a knock, don't play him? If it is, then fine. If it's him saying, I don't think I can play, I've got a sore toe, all I can say to that is, well, could you imagine Luis Suarez missing a game with a sore toe? It just would not happen.
It off and carry on.
Yeah, if you took his toe off, he'd still play. So it's like, I don't really like that. Especially if he plays at the weekend. If he's okay for the weekend, you think, well, could you not have just put him on the bench tonight? What's going on? Who made that decision? Was it Darwin or was it the sports science people? Because if it's Darwin, that's a bit navigatorish.
Is that a sports science thing at all?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that's like a little low rent for sports science.
Yeah, but
it either hurts or it doesn't hurt.
They have got such an influence, haven't they? So yeah, I don't know.
Well, how would they know? It's not necessarily something that shows up in the red zone and that kind of thing.
But also, it's like it either hurts or it doesn't hurt. You can't it's like when you break your toe, they can't reset the thing or anything like that. It just has to wait to be healed.
But they said minor.
So
if they'd have said broken toe, then fine.
Hey. Now look, maybe he was coming out the shower in the changes, right? And he didn't have his flip-flops on, or as the youngsters like to call them, sliders. Don't know where they picked that up from. They can fuck off along with the socks and sliders. We mocked people like that in my day. Yeah. Mocked people mercilessly. Fucking knobs.
Kind of thing my dad would wear.
It's not acceptable in polite society, and yet they all are under 25 doing it. But he might have come out of change. He's not had his sliders on. Little skid on a tile. Banged his toes. That's it. And because he's Uruguay and he went down, rolling around holding his toe in the middle of the changes. And they're like, all right, you've hit you. Might have stubbed his toe.
Yeah,
other than that, I don't really know what a minor toe I mean, I'm not a sports scientist. This is a surprise. But I don't really know what a toe injury could be other than you've either broken it or you've stubbed it. Like,
Lost a nail, maybe.
That's not minor. Yeah. That's pretty major. If you lose it, have you ever had that where like your big toenails come off?
No.
I'm still traumatized when it happened to me. I'm still queasy just thinking about it. No, I think he's either stubbed his toe or maybe he's been like stepped on in training or something and it's bruised. But disappointing that he's not involved.
Would you miss with a bruised toe? I mean, I'm pretty low rent with pain, but I don't think I've gone running with worse injuries than that. Probably shouldn't have, but I know I'm not a Premier athlete, and you're right about the doc says you shouldn't do it, but I don't know. It's all a bit. It all feels like he's sort of fading out of the picture, like
just
Marty McFly.
Start, isn't he? You could have done without that tonight. Even if he wasn't starting the game, the way that game went, very much like the Leeds game. If you're bringing him on for the last 20, he could have had a field day, couldn't he?
It feels very much like he's fifth, and now he's becoming a distant fifth.
Yeah,
definitely.
And that's a problem.
There's no real. I mean, all the other strikers are in some sort of certain degree of form. Diaz still coming back, obviously, but is definitely higher on the totem pole. Like, what's the point in playing him in the last two games? Like, even if he is fit, like, I don't see any fucking advantage to be had in putting him on. The other lads are doing the business just fine. If Bobby's available, you'd want him to come on for at least one of them. I'm not sure if he is. Do we know yet whether he's going to be available for the last game?
He should be.
Right.
They'll bring him on for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Surely a couple of minutes at the end, if nothing else.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Maybe he's got a bad toe, but he'll run through it because he wants to come on.
Where are you at on the Darwin-o-meter now, lads? Like, in terms of your hopes for him being a success? Like, Dave, you've championed him all season. Are you still confident that it's going to be all guns blazing in the second season and he's going to be a successful signing for us, or are you starting to lose a little bit of faith?
I'm not losing faith in him. I do worry that maybe we might want to go in a different direction. Klopp may just think what we signed him for is not necessarily what we're going to do now. So you've got to make a decision, and I don't know. If Klopp still in his head sees him as like a project and he can work on him, then I think that the sky's the limit. I'm not worried at all. As long as Klopp still wants him and still thinks he can do a job, then I've got no worries at all about it. Klopp's record with strikers is so good. He's developed strikers in the past. There's no reason to think he can't do it again, as long as he sees him as part of his plans.
I genuinely don't know. I think it's really up in the air with him now, and it's unfair to the toe injury tonight. It's unfair, but it does feel like, does he have the necessary grit to sort of battle for the place with the other four players? He doesn't. He seems like any sort of aggression he has is often misplaced. Like it's never channeled correctly on the pitch, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone said, if someone came in and said, "Do you want 50 million for him?" We went, "Yeah, go on then." In the summer, it wouldn't surprise. I don't think it'll happen, but if it happened, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, I can't believe that's happened." I'd be like, "Yeah, fair enough." I tell you what makes me wonder is Klopp's words about him. It's very un-Klopp-like. The things he said about him in the press conference about not learning the English and all that kind of stuff. He's about 2 sentences away from saying he needs to understand what pain is, like when he said about Sturridge when Sturridge wasn't playing. It's about him. It just, I don't know. I feel like Darwin's got a real fight on his hands now to sort of ever be a starter. I think Gakpo has cemented the position at the middle. And not through, because he's not like scored a shitload of goals, Gakpo, but he's clearly developed an understanding and intuition with Salah and whoever plays on the other side, whether it be Jota or Diaz. And Nunez just always looks like he looks like a player who doesn't understand the language. He looks like he's turned up to the party and he doesn't know anyone. He doesn't know who to speak to when he plays. He looks sometimes.
Like he's, and also like not just the language thing, just the way he plays. He looks like he's out there by himself.
Yeah, a
lot of the time, it doesn't look like he's part of a team. Like Darwin's doing whatever Darwin does, and the rest of the team are working in a certain manner, trying to sort of develop some sort of intuition with each other. And it just looks like Darwin, you pick up the ball on the left, run, go, 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 and then nobody else is really involved with anything he's doing. Like, and especially if you compare that to like the relationship that Sadio had with his teammates, it's like a million miles away from anything we've seen on that front. But Jules, to use like an analogy that you would probably tend to use, I think Jurgen probably feels a little bit shortchanged by what he's got with Nunez. I think he was probably expecting a little bit more. Like he's bought like a video game that's been hyped up for months and months and months, and he's bought the game, and the game's like a bit shit, and he doesn't really want to play with it very much, but he feels the need to because he spent 60 quid on it. And in this case,
is this about you not being able to play Zelda?
Well, that's completely unrelated. I'm shit at video games though, so I'm not like Darwin Núñez shit when it comes to video games. But
this is getting extreme now.
He's
gone from having some concerns to now he's just shit and you can't play him. I've got to interject here. I can't be having that. I've got to take exception to that. Just calling him shit.
All right. I mean,
Chris, how dare you? I'd never call him shit. What are you doing?
You'd never call him shit on this podcast.
No, he does it outside the fucking chippy.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever like properly got Dave. He was fuming. He's absolutely fuming.
Is Jules up there with the Arsenal fan, Chippy Nobbins?
He is.
In your eyes for that comment?
It's tough to split them.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Et tu, Brutus. Fucking hell.
To quote you, Dave, from your roundup this week when talking about Brighton and Iheanacho, is Jules on a list that you just don't get off now?
No, he's not on that list. No,
okay.
the only names on that list are Brighton and Iheanacho.
Okay, fair enough. Didn't get a sighting of him tonight either. He was injured. But anyway.
He missed the last game as well, didn't he?
Right, so I mean, like 2-0 up half time, game's done. Really, I don't think anybody's really expecting much more out of Leicester. We saw them walk back onto the pitch and their heads were all down. It didn't look like they were
Well,
a
they
team
got
that
booed
had been...
off. What did you make of that?
Yeah,
Them getting
right.
booed off at half time.
Well, deservedly so, because
think?
if you're... Yeah, absolutely.
I think they've deserved to be booed off a lot of times this season, but they're just up against a team that's much better than them tonight.
It's a common
They had
effect,
a goal.
though,
I just
isn't
think
it?
they were just shit.
Like,
Plus, you still need to come out for the second half. They chanted, fit to wear the shirt at the end as well. I mean, I get they're upset, Leicester fans, but if you're not, you may as well save that shit for the end, right at the end of the season when it's confirmed not. And the irony is, when they relegate, when it's confirmed, they'll probably applaud them off. Good effort. There's never any point in booing
they know
the
the
team.
writing's on the wall. They've watched it all season, haven't they? Like they won at 8 games all season. Like my a lad I work with, he's one of my editors, is a massive Leicester fan, and he's been saying weeks before it became apparent to everybody that they're done. Like even before they fired Brendan, he thought they were done. So I think those fans have probably just fucking seen enough, and this was the cumulative effect of they haven't got to bitch at their players since that travesty at Fulham last week. So
I'm just laughing. Your editor's a Leicester fan. I hope he hasn't heard your fucking rant about Leicester last year, or you won't be getting any work commissioned for a while.
Well, no, I've actually had like a little bit of a pay rise since then, but I assume
So he definitely hasn't heard it.
He hasn't heard it. Right, yeah. But we won't be bringing that up, that's for sure. But I think that if they go down, as they will, it'll be like the feeblest relegation, perhaps in the Premier League era, of a team that's like half decent. They finished 8th last year. They won the FA Cup the year before. They won the Premier League 7 years ago. They've got plenty of good quality players in there. I think it'll be the meekest relegation I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. There's like, if you compare them with, say, Bournemouth. So I've been saying, like, for months, Bournemouth are like Championship quality and Champions League attitude. Bournemouth, look at their players. They've not got players as good as Leicester's players, like man for man. But the difference in them is massive. Bournemouth, like, the team spirit's there. They fight and scrap for everything. Play good football as well, to be fair. And then you compare them with Leicester, who've just been like a soft touch. But the weird thing with Leicester is, look at the run that they had just before the World Cup. They won something like 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7 or something. They had this run that got them from like right at the bottom up to mid-table, and then the World Cup happens. They come back after that and just basically just lost nearly every game and ended up like right back in the shit again. Just a very, very strange team.
Yeah, definitely. Is there anything else that you guys have got to talk about from the second half? Because it was kind of a little bit of a non-event, really,
goal.
apart from
there's only the goal, isn't
the free kick.
Yeah, the
the
goal.
free kick. I know Leicester were unhappy about
on the
award of the
Salamis.
free kick.
Yeah.
We're 4 goals behind Newcastle in terms of the goal difference situation, and they're a point above us with a game in hand. So that, I would have liked us to have seen us pile in a little bit more there, because it could have been at least half a dozen.
It's a good point.
We could have walked in after that. But so that miss could be costly, really. But hopefully,
we could easily have done what we did to Leeds.
Yeah,
But we didn't. It never looked like we were really that bothered about scoring more goals. But I felt like it was there for us if we had really pushed for it. And yeah, the miss by Mo, it wasn't even close. When they showed like the replay from behind, and it wasn't even close. It was like put it like 2 yards wide. It's mad.
Yeah, it was like me trying to play like a sand wedge in golf and just completely like slicing it almost at a 90-degree angle to the place you're trying to hit it.
Yeah, it was bad.
But from the ridiculous to the sublime, Trent's performance was just outrageously good tonight, Jules. I thought him and Curtis were our best players on the night, which was nice. But yeah, just what can you say about a strike like that? Just absolute perfection from him.
Well, I'm gonna hand that over to Dave, because to be fair to Dave, I mean, we are shit at free kicks. Like, they very rarely threaten the goalkeeper. And as they were lining it up and chatting about it, well, you can tell him, Dave.
So I just posted in the chat, this is in. and there was like 3 or 4 replies from people who will remain nameless. No, over the bar, this is going over. Everyone was like saying it was going over the bar, and it didn't. It was in, so I was right. And it's not like I'm just throwing that out all the time. Oh, this is in. I don't, because I've said before, I'd take Trent off free kicks. Trent's free kicks are nowhere near as good as they should be. But I just fancied that one tonight. I just thought he was going to score. But it wasn't a free kick. It was like, he got the ball, but it was a weird looking tackle. It was an ugly looking challenge. But he did get the ball. It just looked cumbersome. And I think the ref's just been fooled by that, because it just looked like an ugly tackle. But when you see it again, he clearly got the ball. Like, so, yeah, it wasn't even a free kick.
Johnny Evans gave it the full, I had my football education at Alex Ferguson's Man United in the referee's face there.
It was karma for that one, the fucking 2-footer that he put in on Shelvey on the edge of the box.
Oh, yeah.
And they both went in the same way. And Shelvey just got up, and Evans was rolling around on the floor, and Shelvey gets a red card. Now, it was actually worth getting the red card, just because of what happened afterwards when Shelvey called Ferguson a cunt. It's like, yeah, it was worth the red card just because that happened, and it was so funny. And I wouldn't even remember that incident now, other than what happened afterwards. Shelvey walking down the tunnel and pointing at Ferguson and going, fuck off, you cunt. That was just so good. That was great. But yeah, so payback's a bitch, Johnny Evans. It's been a long time coming, but yeah, there you go.
You can subscribe to the Liverpool Way podcast on all the major platforms, whether it's Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon or Podbean. Just search for the Liverpool Way, leave us a review and hit subscribe to automatically receive all new episodes. You can also head to liverpoolway.co.uk and grab a TLW season ticket for just £3 a month. There's tons of exclusive content, including match reports from every Liverpool game, weekly Premier League roundups, the TLW diary and access to the members-only forum. Lastly, you can follow us on social media at The Liverpool Way on Twitter and at The Liverpool Way TLW on Instagram and Facebook. He's one of those players, and there's a lot of them, and there's also like managers who have had an entire career based on the fact that Ferguson thought he was decent. Yeah. Like there's loads of players like that who have they're just shit, but they have these long and enduring careers. Just because they came through at United and Ferguson gave them some game time. Like John O'Shea is another one. Phil Neville is another one.
Yeah.
And then you look at all the managers as well, like, fucking Ince and Robson and Hughes.
Michael
and
Carrick,
Phil Neville again. Yep.
Mark Robbins, Steve Bruce.
Yep.
Yeah, there's loads of them. There is. They all owe Ferguson for the careers that they've had in the game.
Yeah. I do think it was a foul because I don't think you get to lunge in like he did and just have the ball clip the underside of your leg, and it's not a free kick because there was, it was a dangerous tackle. So I think it was a free kick, and duly enough, Trent planted it into the top corner. But as they say, Jules, and this is guarded as well because I've criticised him enough. None of us are really blameless in terms, perhaps Paul. Blameless in terms of the criticism that's been levelled at Trent this year, but in terms of the wider game, and as to say something that you'd hear in the NBA, let the apology be as loud as the disrespect.
Yeah. Yeah. It is genuinely fascinating where Trent will be next season, because he's making a case that you can't really put him back to where he was. But then you have to go and find that backup right back. But as I said at the start, though, he's just playing like the best player on a schoolyard, just like running around the place, just doing shit, just doing this, like pinging it about, just playing with like effortless freedom at the moment. It's quite a thing to watch. He's taken over the Thiago role of socks rolled down, playing like he's playing five-a-side. Except he doesn't get injured and actually, sets up goals. But apart from that, he's I don't see him going back to right back next year. I think we have to accommodate it. I think. I don't know what you think, but I don't think it can. I just don't think it's possible now. I think we've seen too much of this to ever put it back in the box.
I think, and also I think we've seen enough of the right back stuff to know that that perhaps isn't fixable in a sustainable way. And having seen 6 weeks or 7 weeks of this, I mean, we've won every game apart from the Arsenal game he started in, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
the first time they did it.
Yeah.
Like, we're undefeated in all those games. Should have beaten Arsenal. We've won the other 7. So, like, it's certainly having its effect on the results compared to what came before. What do you think, Dave? You think it'll be sort of like a mixed approach, or do you think this is where he's going to play now?
No, I think we'll stick with what we're doing. And I also think you can't really now say to Trent, okay, we're just going to go back and you're going to play right back, because I don't feel like Trent was motivated to play there anyway. I think he'd had enough of it. He wasn't enjoying it. You could see, like, you know, there was so much pressure on his shoulders. Every little thing he was doing was getting overanalyzed. Some of his defending was really bad. And a lot of it, he was getting shit for stuff that, you know, he's done nothing wrong. And he was just getting picked at all the time. And other defenders would do the same thing, and like the classic example was Kieran Trippier on Darwin's goal. Nothing got said about Kieran Trippier. Now, if that's Trent doing that, it's getting like constantly like shown and talked about, and I just don't think he's enjoying it anymore. I think like this is giving him a new lease of life. He's enjoying his football, and when he is having to go over to right back and do some defending, he's actually being pretty fucking good. You know, I mean, that one like tonight when they had like a quick break and Trent covered it and got back in ahead of Vardy and just cut out the danger. You know, I think this has given him a completely new lease of life, to the point where he'll probably enjoy the bits of defending that he's doing as well, but he's not constantly having to think about it all the time. Oh, I'm playing right back, I'm up against this winger, and he's not having to deal with any of that, but he's still doing bits and pieces there when needed. But he's just enjoying himself, and they keep flashing up those graphics whenever we play now, like since he made that tactical switch and where he ranks in like the Premier League. And I don't know what the categories are, but they bring it up and there's like 6 or 7 categories, and it's like first. He's just been like the best in the league in all of these things since he moved there. So I think you keep doing what we're doing, and if there's games where you have to mix it up tactically and we maybe have to play with like a right back, Trent should be in midfield. You know, there's 3 midfield spots there. We know that he could fill them easily. He could play in any of those positions, really, I think. So we probably should be looking at getting a right back, unless the plan is, and I'm not saying that this should be the plan or it is the plan, but if you're only wanting to play a right back in games where you're needing to be a little bit more solid and you just want like a back 4, rather than the way we're playing at the moment. If you see Joe Gomez as just giving you that steady option against a good winger, because he is good at that. You know, Joe Gomez is good at shutting down like a dangerous attacker on that side. Yeah, I'd have confidence in him doing that. But he's not going to give you the Trent stuff.
All you got to worry about with him is his lapses. Like, it's not his defending that's a problem. Like,
which mostly come at centre back though. You know, that most of his mistakes have been centre back. At right back, he's been solid when he's played there. So I'd have no qualms about that. But I suppose it depends how many games a season you're thinking, I'm going to need a right back because Trent's either going to be rested or he's going to be playing midfield. And do they have confidence in like either of the 2 young kids to come in and do a job between them and Joe Gomez, maybe? Whether you think, we've got enough, or if they need to go out and buy somebody. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I think they might not buy someone. I think they might just stick with what they've got and let Gomez and then one of the kids, whether it's Ramsey or Bradley, one of those 2, let them fight it out. Just because hopefully you're only looking at maybe like 15 starts a season, as long as Trent stays fit. Because the other problem you've got is, well, just what if like we're playing this system and then Trent's not available? We have to change the system, because you're not going to stick Joe Gomez in there, are you? Like as a hybrid midfield player. There's nobody else who can really do it. So, that's the decision they've got to make, is, do they sign somebody else who can do that? Or is it like, we'll only play that way when Trent's available?
Touch wood, though. He's like, I can't remember a lengthy injury absence from him, like, at all, really.
No.
I think he had a little hamstring injury earlier in the season, which we all speculated might have been taking him out of the firing line anyway, for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he missed one game, didn't he? And he might have missed
back from that.
Was it an international break as well? He maybe missed. Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, why not? Why not build the team around him now? Why not? It's not out of the realms of like sanity to say you're our main man. We're gonna do whatever we need to do to accommodate you. And you mentioned all those stats where he's coming through at number one. Then why wouldn't you want to continue doing that? It's working. So
He's been phenomenal. It really
Yeah.
has. Since he's made that switch, he's been absolutely phenomenal.
good stuff, man. I mean, it all bodes. I mean, I think Klopp had that interview before. I don't know if you saw it, but they showed it on NBC, Jules, before the game. Carragher was talking to Jurgen, and Jurgen was really talking about what we've all wanted, really. That he's able to try a few things ahead of when he normally would in pre-season in terms of tweaking the system and how we want to play and everything. So yeah, it feels like we might have a real head start going into next season now. And you've said consistently, including tonight, in that this is what you wanted the end of the season to look like for us. Like trying stuff, figuring out what works, dispensing of what doesn't, and giving us a good platform to go into next year.
Yeah, I saw that interview before the game, and I mean, Jurgen's more or less saying like it's been so bad that we've had no choice but to to start putting in plans for next season now, because there was nothing. What we were doing was not working. It had worked for 4 or 5 years, but it stopped working. And so whatever he seemed to intimate that these plans were in the pipeline for the summer, and they've just accelerated them. And you have to take them at face value and think that's true, although we'll never really know the truth. And yeah, the Trent move and getting Jota back, someone who can press from the front, because we were all wondering, weren't we? Jota came back in, and we're like, he's dead rusty, or he doesn't look like he's ever going to score again. But it wasn't about that. Clearly, it was about just like putting back the team, putting parts of the team back together that would function, and then tweaking the parts that that you just were going to throw away anyway.
Yeah.
And that's that. Jota comes back in. Say what you want about his goal scoring, and he's back on form with that. But he knows how to press from the front. He knows when to and how to, which is the reason why Nunez doesn't play, because he doesn't know how to do that. And yeah, this is all once we lost at Bournemouth, this is all the season was. If we managed to sneak fourth at the end of it, then that's a massive bonus. But it's not what I consider to be the be all and end all now. It's about next season. And the only thing that makes me a little bit concerned is I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with recruitment. It doesn't seem to be like there's any coherence there at the moment. Again, from the outside looking in, and I can't say that I have the faith that I've had for the last 3 or 4 years. The last 3 or 4 years, I really haven't been that bothered by transfers, because I've just been sort of like, doesn't matter if they think if that's what they want, then that's who they'll get, and they'll fit in the team. And by and large, everyone has. Like, some have been failures in terms of their availability. Keita, on a lesser extent, Thiago, and then others have just been, at the moment, where mysteries like Nunez. You're like, I don't understand why you've bought him now. It doesn't seem to fit. So
Carvalho.
I'm a little bit, yeah, Carvalho as well. A little cameo from him tonight. You forget he's here when he started. I mean, there was always a red flag about this season when we started the season and Carvalho was starting games. That was always like, that doesn't seem right to me. That didn't seem like that was a plan to sign him and stick him in immediately. So that's the only thing I have concerns. I'm not sure about the recruitment anymore. I'm hoping to be proved wrong in the summer, and we buy everyone and they slot in like the much vaunted final pieces of the jigsaw or what have you. But in terms, I don't think I always assume Klopp can get a tune or can mold a team from the players he's got. He did it when he first came here. Like the first season he took over, we had that draw with Spurs away, and we looked like high energy, and you thought, oh, all right, yeah, this is a bit different. But and I think we went away to Pellegrini City. Was it Pellegrini?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Battered them, didn't
And we absolutely battered them. Coutinho and Firmino were just like outrageously good. And I can remember saying to somebody in work, like, we're going to be good. We're going to be really good now. I can just see this. We're good. This is going to be good. So I've always got like that faith that Jurgen, even if we don't get the transfers right, can mold them into something. But unfortunately, we live in a world where we have to be, or whoever's challenging for trophies in England has to be throwing like 180s, 7 dart finishes all the time. Because if like if you go whatever, whatever
Seven
the
dart finish would be
7 dart
something to
finish.
behold.
9 darts
Fucking
on,
hell.
I'm sorry, I tell you what I was thinking of, 147 break. I was confused. You're looking like is either doing like 9 dart finishes or 147 breaks all the time. There's no other way. You've got to be hitting them all the time, perfect. Otherwise, you aren't going to win anything. And that's the problem. You've got to get the transfers right to the degree that Jurgen doesn't have to go, right, this isn't ideal, but I can mold this and I can make something of it. You need it to be, this is exactly what I want. In it goes, we're off.
But Jules, you make a really good point there as well. Sorry to interrupt you, but
No, that's okay.
like you say that you fancy Jurgen to get the tune out of these players, and also you have to get them right. But who's to say that some of those players that we've signed, the ones who were sort of unqualified successes, like say a Wijnaldum, for instance, gave us 5 years of incredible service, and I don't think anybody would look at Gini Wijnaldum and say like, yeah, that wasn't a frigging fantastic piece of business from our point of view. Like, do we have to be that perfect then in that instance, or is the success of these signings the fact that the recruitment department did such a great job, or Jurgen did such a great job of moulding these players? Because if you look at everybody who's left, none of them have done well at all since they left Liverpool. So it's an interesting thing to look at in terms of, should we be desperately worried about the recruitment side of things if we've got that ability to, this genius of a manager who can just make it work?
Only in as much as I think we've had more misfires in the last 3 years than we had in the 3 years before that. There weren't any misfires in the early years. The Wijnaldums, the Manes, the Salahs. Like, because when we were trying to sign Salah, how many people thought, we've just gone back through the book and had a look to see who we turned us down last time? It didn't, it was it wasn't a bit of an odd one. He was doing well at Roma, but we tried to sign him years ago. It just seemed a bit like revisiting rather than looking anywhere else. But obviously that was the player we wanted. But if you look at like the business over the last few years, who's been the biggest success? Kanate. I think I've had this debate before. It's Kanate, I think, and he's got injury problems. Thiago's always injured. Keita's been there's no other way to say it, but he's been a failure for what he cost and what he's given to the team. Carvalho, we're not sure where he fits in. Probably unfair to put him in it. He's young. Nunez cost 70 million. We've just had a debate about how shit he is. There have been more what I would term misfires in the last few years than there have been at the start. And so what's that? Because we heard many stories like that, Klopp wanted Brandt, or he wanted Götze, and these players were like, whoa, we're not sure. And then Michael Edwards would go pass a piece of paper across the table to Jurgen and go, what about this one? And Jurgen's like, oh, I'm not sure. And he's like, well, we can't get Brandt, so what about this one? And it turns out, so it's probably both, right? It's probably good quality analytics and scouting. And then it's Jurgen's tactical nous. And there are so many people leaving behind the scenes that you think, okay, so is the quality of analytics and scouting going to match up to Jurgen's quality of coaching? That's the question. Because if it does, then yeah, we're going to be throwing the much vaunted 7 5-dart finishes. or it's going to be more of the same, which is this isn't ideal, but we'll do the best we can. But it's probably not going to, we're probably not going to win. I don't think we'll, win the league. We're probably not going to be looking at that anytime soon. It's
Nobody
just so
is,
difficult.
are they, really? Let's be real.
No. I mean, if you're up against cheats, you're always going to have a problem, aren't you? But so it's just who's doing the analytics, who's doing the recruitment. I have plenty of faith that Jurgen get a tune out of some of these players, including Nunez. But it's like Nunez cost 70 million. For 70 million, I'd want him to be starting and scoring as many goals as Salah, and he's not. So that's more of a failure of the analytics and the scouting more than Jurgen. Or is it the other way around? I don't know.
If he was scoring that many goals, he'd have cost a lot more than 70 million.
Well, Mo Salah cost half that, didn't he?
Yeah,
How much did Salah cost?
When we signed him, he wasn't scoring that many goals.
Well, neither was Nunez.
No, but he
It was
comes
also
in
5 years ago as well.
Yeah, Mo comes in and he's been absolutely phenomenal.
So would you say then,
so
if
what we
in
paid for
inflation
him's a bargain?
terms, so in terms of inflation then, would you say that Mo Salah, if you were signing him from Roma now, would cost what Nunez cost?
He wouldn't be far off it.
Right, but then Mo Salah was scoring 30, 40 goals and Nunez isn't.
Yeah, but this is his first season.
Mo Salah's first
I
season.
know, well, Mo Salah's first season is a complete outlier. He's never scored that many goals since.
How many has he got this season?
Nowhere near as many as he got in his first season.
Is it 30?
He's got 30 and he got 44
Yeah.
in his first season. So
Shit,
you
twat.
can't use his first season as any kind of barometer. No,
Well, I can, because obviously it's relevant.
Well, if you're going to compare
First season-
everybody we sign with Mo Salah, they're all going to fall short. Because Mo's first season, like, there's only Haaland. Haaland's the only one who's beaten that. So you're back to being outside the chippy, just talking bollocks again. We're in this situation. We may as well be stood outside the chippy right now, because that's how it feels.
Hey Dave, do you want to talk about Brighton?
Oh, fucking Brighton. You know, John put in the chat before, if Brighton gets something against Newcastle on Thursday, you know, he might forgive them somewhat for the Everton game. I'm like, they could beat Newcastle fucking 10-0. It doesn't make any difference. And in fact, even if somehow Everton actually went down, it still doesn't let Brighton off the hook. You know, I'm still carrying that beef with me for a long time. It's completely inexcusable what happened. Like, they were smelling themselves, that's what it is. They won 6-0, then they beat United with a stoppage time penalty, and they've just gone in fucking strolling in, dick swinging, smelling themselves, thinking, these are shite, bottom three, we'll roll all over these. And then they get fucking spanked everywhere. And then what did they do the week after? Go and beat Arsenal. Which I knew they would. I called that in the roundup. I called it. I said, they'll go and beat Arsenal. I said, watch them go and beat Arsenal. And they fucking did. Absolute fucking twats they are, Brighton. And I don't want any of their players. You can keep McAllister, you can keep Caicedo. I don't want any of them. That stink will never come off them. I don't want to be having to look at these players and look at them and going, yeah, you're the reason Everton is still up. Fucking dickheads. So no, I'm all out on Brighton completely.
Alright, nice. What else can we wind him up with, Jules?
Anyway, Nunez. So
yeah, back to Nunez, yeah. No, but what I was saying about that, actually, when you're talking about the price tag, well, what your expectations are, someone who's going to score as many as Salah, what I'm saying is strikers like that are going to cost you a lot more than what he cost. That's just the way it is. I mean, look at the price tag for Harry Kane. I know, like, Haaland was his transfer fee was quite low, but the overall cost of that deal is, like, astronomical. Just because it's not going through Man City's books doesn't mean he's not costing a lot of money. So if you're wanting that, well, it's going to cost more than what we actually paid for him. Now, I'm not saying he shouldn't have scored more goals than he has. He's got 15, but he should have 20, really, you know, minimum. He should have more. He's missed chances. You said before about him being at, like, he's at the party and, you know, he can't speak to anyone because he doesn't know the language. He's basically at the party just trying to chat up every single bird in the place, and his strike rate's not great at all. He's struck out loads of times, but he's still managed to pull a few as well during that time. And I think next year...
Is this why you have such an affinity for him?
No, next year, once he's learnt the language a little bit more and he's worked on his chat-up lines and that, I think next year you'll see him scoring a lot more often.
At the park, we
Sort
talking
of like
about birds
Manuel from Fawlty Towers.
The amount of shit Darwin's taken tonight is just absolutely disgraceful, it is.
Poor Dave, he's had toothache all day.
And I've still got toothache now. Now I've got fucking earache as well.
Oh man.
Let's talk about something positive. Let's talk about Leicester going down. Those fans.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, there were more reports of, like, tragedy chanting from them against, like, James Pearce pointed out. So, you know, good riddance to them. I've had my say about them plenty of times before. Good riddance to them, really.
All I'll say about it is, you know, they've had a good run, to be fair. Those fans are going to get relegated and they're going down. They've got some great memories. They've got the title. They won the FA Cup a couple of years ago. obviously this is the coronation. So they've got plenty of things that
Right.
they can still, they can watch the DVDs and they can still get excited about all that. They can sit there singing the national anthem. When they play Millwall next year, they can both be belting out the national anthem. So, yeah, it's all good for them. Yeah. They've had a good run and now it's over.
And they also threw in that proper banter merchant chant, the banter merchant chant du jour of "We've got the ball, we've lost the ball," which is like... one of the shittiest things I've ever heard at a football stadium. But
that is grim.
Less said about that, the better. Yeah, but I think Tottenham fans were doing it last week as well, weren't they? When they were like 3-0 down. Yeah, I think I heard it on the coverage. You guys would know better because you're actually in the stadium. But
Football fans, as a general rule, aren't that as a collective aren't that like innovative. Like, it's one of the reasons I think like Liverpool fans get a lot of like stick about like being up our own arses about our chants and our way the fans are, at Anfield, is because we don't sort of ever do those sorts of chants. We sort of turn our noses up at them. Now, I use the phrase "turn our noses at them" like we're too good for them, and we're not too good for them. But at the same time, we are too good for them because they are so shit. Like Liverpool itself. Anfield more than I don't go to Everton games, so I don't know. But Liverpool's got a very distinctive match day culture, like the clothes, the sort of the casual wear, all that kind of stuff. Yet anywhere else, it's just like knobheads in very tight jeans wearing knockoff Stone Island jumpers or jackets with the fucking goggles in it, with the cans of Madry. Thinking they're dead sophisticated. I've got bad news. Madry's made in Burton by Carlin, in the Carlin factory. It's not fucking Spanish. It was made up about 3 years ago because they wanted a premium lager and they didn't want to keep using Starperman. Like, it's not the win you think it is. It's not. You're not the sophisticated. There is Spanish lager widely available in the UK that you can buy that is actually Spanish, and it isn't San
you're
Miguel.
You're basically paying £1 a pint more for posh Carlin.
You are. You're exactly what you are. They've got Molson Coors have 3 pricing levels for their lagers, and it's Coors, then it's Carlin Coors, and then it's Madry. There's no magic formula there, but they're there with their identikit sleeve tattoos and their Stone Island, their can of Madry, singing the same banter songs each week, and it doesn't matter where they are. There are other fans that have that are quite distinctive. I think we'd all say Palace are quite distinctive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of Premier League teams. I don't think Arsenal are like that, to be honest. I know they were wearing Stone Island gear when they were at Anfield. I did see a lot of them in Stone Island gear.
Tottenham are not that bad either, to be fair, in the grand scheme of things.
But Stone Island is the. I mean, Shaney's fed up with me telling her this because every time I see it, I say the same thing. It's the biggest cunt brand going. If you wear Stone Island, you are saying to everybody, "Look at me. I want you to know I am a cunt."
Just apologise to any of the listeners who maybe wear Stone Island. I'm
not apologising to you.
Jules' views are his own. Not the official views of the podcast. Jules' own views.
No, if you're wearing Stone Island, you're listening to this podcast, go and support Leicester. Disgrace. An absolute disgrace.
Yeah. Gosh. I mean, it's not surprising that Leicester don't really have the greatest songbook if you consider the most notable artists to come from the place are Kasabian, which is one of the worst things that ever happened to British music, Shawaddy Waddy, Corner Shop, and Mark Morrison.
Ugh. I don't like Mark Morrison.
Corner Shop have only got Fatboy Slim to thank for their success.
Mm-hmm. And
that song was shite until he remixed it.
Willie Thorne, Snooker Loopy.
That's Chaz and Dave.
Yeah, but Willie Thorne's on it. He sings a line on there about his bald head.
Did Willie Thorne once get a 6-start finish?
Oh man. Oh well. They are. It does look like they are gone. for real. And
Yeah.
it does look like Leeds are going to be the ones to join them. I think Forest will be all right. I think Everton will be all right. But we can still, I guess we can still hope, right? Well, where there's Big Sam, there's... Well, I'm not kidding myself.
I got my hopes up at the weekend when Leeds were winning, and Forest were then winning their game as well. They both ended up with draws, which wasn't too bad, but yeah, I was thinking, well, if they both win today, and then like they didn't win, and it'd be
It's
the
your
same.
boy Bamford as well.
Yeah, but he's still my boy. I'm not going to abandon him. It was a tough scene for him, like.
Well, if you want to
Why?
abandon Nunez, you're not abandoning Bamford, are you?
No, well, listen, Nunes doesn't even like Bon Jovi. Well, I don't think he does. Bamford does, so I'm always going to have Bamford's back.
If Nunez slacked off Bon Jovi, would that put you off him?
Yeah, he'd be
Yeah,
gone.
fair.
I'd hate him even more than you do, if that was the case.
Right.
I used to hate Bamford, I really did. And it was totally unfair as well. I had two reasons for hating him. One, he just looked like a bad Tory. And two, it was Footy Manager. I kept trying to sign him, and he wouldn't sign for me. This is like when he was like a wonder kid on the game. He was at Chelsea, and I kept trying to get him to sign for me when I was at Portsmouth. I was doing a good job managing Portsmouth, and I'm trying to get him on loan. Wouldn't come, and then he'd sign for someone below me in the league. And I was fucking fuming, and it happened like 3 seasons in a row. So I always had this irrational hatred of Patrick Bamford, and then I found out he liked Bon Jovi, and he plays it before games. And he got all excited. He was on TalkSport once. John Bon Jovi was in the studio, and I think they got Patrick Bamford on, and he was like just buzzing off it. And I'm like, you know what? That's my boy. I've got Patrick Bamford's back. I won't have a word said against him anymore. And I was totally wrong about him to begin with. And I'm never wrong on stuff like that. I normally spot knobheads a mile off. It's a rare gift that I've got. I can spot them before anybody else spots them. And I thought I had it with Bamford.
What about Chippy Knobheads?
Chippy knobheads, yeah. Oh, yeah. I spot them a mile off. Never wrong. I'm never wrong about chippy knobheads. I've got 100% strike rate on them.
2 for 2.
Yeah, the Arsenal fans and Jules.
Oh man, what's our next game now then? Bloody hell. Villa on Saturday, right?
Yeah, Villa. Is that
Another
the
one.
Our arch enemy.
Yeah, some more axes to grind for you two.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they threw you out to the ground.
I know.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, wouldn't help you even if I could. The worst. That was your fault though, Jules.
It was my fault. Yeah. Dodgy tickets.
We got dodgy tickets for. I think it's Kenny's last game, wasn't it? And we lost.
It was. Stuart Downing scored the
Stuart
winner.
Downing, your boy, Jules.
Yeah,
my boy. Yeah.
Basically, if we haven't told the story on the podcast before, me and Jules and a couple of my mates went to Villa away on the last game of the season, and completely not our own fault. Like, we had every faith that these tickets were legitimate, but of course, 5 minutes before kick-off, these lads arrive, and then the stewards come and escort us out because they're not legitimate tickets. And we go into the Villa club shop it's club shop / ticket office. It was kind of like a little reception area, wasn't it? And I just go and like plead my case a little bit and say, look, lads, like this has happened. You know, is there anything going spare that we could just get in and see the game? And obviously more out of just forlorn hope than anything. And this little Weasley Brummy lad, he must have been about 5'6", like shitty little spiky haircut. And all he said to me, well, lads, even if I could help you, I wouldn't. And
Was it
I
Lee
held
Hendry?
that grudge for...
It sounds like you've just described Lee Hendry.
No, it wasn't him. Might have been his younger brother or something. But I held that grudge for years and years and years and years and years. And I finally let it go, I think. I'm not quite as bad as you, Dave, for holding on to grudges, but or you, Jules, for that matter. But yeah, I still don't want to see anything nice happen to Aston Villa or Aston Villa fans ever again. So let's hope we, end their revival in some good fashion on Saturday. And is it our last home game of the season on Saturday?
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Nice. And hopefully,
can I just say on Villa?
Yeah.
On Villa, everyone was going on about like, oh, look at Aston Villa, they might make a push for top 4. I was never buying that. You know what it was? No one was paying attention. No one was giving a shit. And as soon as the spotlight went on Villa and everyone went, oh, do you know what? Might make a push for top 4. They immediately fell over. They fell off like Mrs. Doyle off the windowsill. Just immediately, shit twats. Pressure's on. Never count on Aston Villa.
No.
Fucking knobheads.
Dave, you got anything to add to
No,
Yeah,
he's
back to
spot
that?
on. Villa had that mad run, and they came from nowhere. But when you look at the fixtures, they had it was a really good run of fixtures that they had. And take nothing away from them, you still got to win the games, and they did. But that was an outlier. That was never going to last. It's not reflecting well on Stevie though. Emery comes in and they're in the bottom three or something, they're awful, and then the same group of players, and he just gets them playing totally different. He gets Watkins scoring. He's done a good job there. It's not going to be an easy game because we're not flying. We're doing well. We're getting results. We actually just look a lot more. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Just solid and not flaky anymore.
Coherent.
Yeah,
Competent.
because we were so flaky, weren't we? And weak. We're not like that at the moment. We look like we're not quite flying. We're not firing on all cylinders. But there's something there now. There's a base there. You can see there's an identity again. And we've been good at Anfield. I think it'd be party atmosphere. It'll mostly be Bobby songs, I'd imagine. I mean, tonight it went on for about 20 minutes, didn't it? And then at full time as well. It was brilliant. It was how heartwarming was that though when the camera went to him on the bench and he sat there with Darwin and he's just got his big smile on his face and that. And
Do you reckon he was explaining to Darwin what the words were?
well, who's going to explain to him? Because his English is not much better than Darwin's, and he's been here 8 years or whatever. So, yeah, maybe Adrian's there interpreting for them or something, or Tiago. Tiago's sat behind them, telling them the words to the song. Yeah, this is for you, Bobby. But yeah, looking forward to that. It'll be emotional. It'll be sad saying bye to Bobby and Milner. I'm not asked about Keita and Ox. Good luck to them and that, but I'm not going to be
Bet you
bothered
Keita
about
won't
that.
even show up, the bum.
Yeah. It's do you know what? Do you reckon the press lads are just taking the piss now? Because they always ask him at the press conference. They always say, "Any news on Naby Keita for the weekend?" And then James Pearce will just tweet it out. Keita's still unavailable or something. I'm like, this is definitely them doing a bit now, isn't it? It's not
Yeah, it is.
because who genuinely would care if he was available or not? I don't think
Right.
the journalists who are asking the question
I
are genuinely
reckon
asked if he's
he's-
available.
I reckon he's ruled him. I don't even think he's injured. I think he's just ruled himself out because he wants to get a
definitely.
team. Yeah.
Because when Klopp got asked last week, he just went no. He said,
Yeah.
Keita available for the weekend? He just went no and shook his head. And you think,
Yeah.
it's clearly a case of he knows he's going. What's the point in him coming back and playing, maybe getting injured again? I think it's just been agreed. Yeah, he's not playing. But it's obviously different with Bobby and Milner as well. So hopefully we'll get to give them a proper send off after a win. Because imagine if we fucking lose Bobby's last game, it doesn't even bear thinking about. Get the points.
Even worse than when we lost Stevie's last
Yeah.
game against Splattered by Palace.
Yeah,
Do you remember the one against Southampton? That was even worse. It was against Stoke, wasn't
Stoke,
it? On
yeah,
the
it was
away
Stoke.
game.
6, yeah.
yeah.
And we were
Yeah.
5-0 down, and they just let him run through and score. It was so embarrassing.
It's just the least fitting send off ever.
Yeah. Yeah. That was that season under Rodgers, though, I guess, wasn't it? It was even more of a nightmare than this
It's
season.
amazing that he didn't get sacked after that.
It is
Yeah.
now. You
But
look back
then
at it, yeah.
somebody there's a theory a few people have mentioned is that because Klopp had left Dortmund and he wanted
That's
a
my
break.
theory.
Yeah, and I think there's probably something in that. They said, you know what, let's just keep Rodgers for now. We know he's going, but there's no point appointing somebody else. Let's just wait until Klopp's ready and then we'll do it.
That makes it even worse that we let him throw his best mate under the bus.
Yeah, well, that says a lot about him, really, that he did that. That was.
Yeah.
I remember thinking at the time, no, that's just not on. That's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
Has Pasco
What
ever
are you
worked
talking about
again? Colin Pasco, remember to
Oh,
save
gosh, yeah.
himself. They were like, well, look, this
Yeah.
can't carry on. We need to make changes. So they brought. Who was it? They brought in
Sean O'Driscoll and Gary McAllister.
Yeah. So they get brought in, and poor Colin Pasco on his shorts get sent away. And I don't know if he's ever worked again, to be honest.
I think the reason why I've always bought into that theory that Klopp was done and dusted there, as well as Rodgers surviving that season, was Bobby Firmino was a Klopp signing. I'm
Yeah.
convinced about that. he was a Klopp signing. Nothing will convince me otherwise. But yeah, amen to all of that stuff that you said about giving him a good send off at the weekend, ending what's been a not that fun campaign, way below our expectations on a high. But speaking of a team that haven't ended the season within what they expected maybe a couple of months ago, I just wanted to get both of yours take on Arsenal and where you stand with it in terms of your levels of sympathy for them. Is there sort of like some sort of kinship now because they've gone through what we've gone through, or Jules, where you at?
No, I've got sympathy in so much that we've been there, but I don't really have sympathy for them or their fans because, no one had any for us. So it's not really my problem. It's their problem. They found out it's difficult being when you're ground under the relentless Manchester City cheat machine. There's a lot of debate now about is it a bottle job or is it not a bottle job. My thoughts on that are it's not really a bottle job, but it also kind of is. I don't think there was any shame in drawing at Anfield. I don't even think there was that big of a problem at West Ham, but you can't lose 3-0 at home to Brighton. You can't draw with Southampton, and you can't go to your title rivals and just be ripped apart like they were. There were too many. So that maybe it's not again, I wouldn't call them bottlers because unless you're another team doing the same thing, you can fuck off with saying anything. You don't get to have an opinion. Right. But the only thing I will say is you can't be dropping that many points towards the end of the business end of the season. You have to get it right. And they just didn't. They just dropping too many points. So good on them for giving City a run of it, but. As David pointed out earlier in the season, they had no injuries and they were winning games. And as soon as the injuries started to come in, the wheels started to wobble, and then eventually they fell off. So I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting if they get Rice in the summer, and then they can improve again. But everyone else is going to start improving. Chelsea will have Pochettino, although again I saw them linked with that player from Napoli today, and I thought you shouldn't be signing any players. You should be barred. Right. You're like a fat kid who's had too many sweets. You don't get any more sweets until you sort out the mess you've made. You don't get anything until then. So unfortunate for them. I don't sympathise that much, but we've been there. So
I wouldn't say so much. I've probably got more sympathy for them than you have, but I'm not sitting here feeling sorry for them. The only thing I'd say is it's pissing me off when I know this is my own fault for listening to TalkSport or whatever, but all knobheads on there and they're taking the piss out of the Arsenal supporters on there or the Arsenal fans in general and calling them bottlers, fucking Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara, knobheads like that going, oh, you bottled it. Hang on a minute. It's not about them bottling it. They were not that good. They rode the crest of a wave. They had a lot of things went their way. They took advantage of it. All credit to them. Well done. They put up a really good fight. But eventually it caught up with them because they're not like a 100-point team. And it's ridiculous to expect them. Arsenal have done better than people thought they'd do. They've got nothing to be ashamed about whatsoever. And people taking the piss out of them, it doesn't sit well with me. And they've not handled it well the last few weeks. I think they've won 2 out the last 7, and you can't do that when you're up against City. Even when you win 6 out the last 7 and you're up against City, that one game is always going to bite you in the arse because you just have to win every game. We know that. We did that. We did win every game, and it's not enough. Yeah. City are on 11 wins on the bounce now. They'll probably win every game to the end of the season, and it's not a surprise because we said it a couple of months ago. City will just win every game, and it's whether Arsenal can do it or not, and they couldn't. But there's no disgrace there. It's not good, the Southampton game. It's not good with the Brighton game as well. But it can happen. It's kind of normal. If you disregard Man City and you look just throughout the history of the game, teams who win the league will have a bad spell at some point. Arsenal's just happening to have their bad spell now at the worst possible time. But still, they've got absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. They haven't bottled it. They were not bottling it as if you're a favourite and you just start dropping all of these points. They were never the favourites. City were the favourites.
Yeah. Bottling it thing is didn't they in '96?
Yeah.
The bottling thing is kind of like one of this modern football banter merchant shit,
and
though,
it's
isn't
annoying.
it?
I mean,
Yeah.
we had that, like, saying we bottled it, we drew with Tottenham, we won fucking every other game for about 3 months. We had a draw with Tottenham, who were a good side, and apparently, like, we were bottling it because we drew with Spurs.
We probably originated the bottling thing in the last few years when Gerrard fell over. That's
have
when
to
people
bring that
really
up.
started to get a
You know.
kicker. Well, I don't really care. We have won the league since,
It's still bothers
and if
me
we
now.
and if we'd won the league, Rodgers might like. There's a whole like what if that had
Yeah.
happened. So it's one of
Sliding
them. I'm not
doors.
that bothered anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, but no,
For me-
I just don't think Arsenal should be getting the criticism that they're getting because they've had a good season.
What's disappointing from my perspective is, and it's always the dickheads in like the For You section of Twitter, which is just a massive dumpster fire. Whoever you support, whatever political allegiance you are, like
Thanks,
whatever
Elon.
sexuality you are, it's fucking that section is just filled with like absolute trash. And there were I saw a bunch of Liverpool fans on there now with like hundreds of retweets, like going at Arsenal fans for like saying how they now empathize with us, how they feel, and it's like, oh, if you've done it for fucking 5 years and come back with those scars and lost it by a point on both occasions, then we'll talk. But it's just for me, like, to belittle what they've done this season, to refer to them as bottlers, to take pleasure in that. All that does is just like legitimize Man City.
It does. Yeah.
And then we shouldn't be doing with that. Maybe we shouldn't be like linking arms with them and kumbaya and all that kind of stuff, but we should at least have empathy with the fact that what they've done has robbed legitimate teams of deserved success. Like, I hope that in time, like, history will view them as the rightful champions for this season, because like, in terms of the teams that have done it in the correct manner, they've been by far and away the best team this year.
Yeah.
Just as we were in 2018-19, just as we were last season as well. So that's the only element that's disappointing for me, is to see our own fans engage in that fucking gobshitery.
Yeah.
But
No, that's spot on, and
it is what it is.
it's absolutely, like, that's what people should be focusing on. Not talking about Arsenal's failings, but saying, well, hang on a minute, you can't afford to drop any points. Why? Why is that? Because them cheating bastards there are winning every single game, and they've got a fucking striker who's scoring like 50 odd goals or whatever, and it's all like illegal what they're doing. It's just based on disregarding the rules that everybody else is playing by. And, you know, Arsenal, of all the teams who are playing by the rules, Arsenal have finished top. And anybody's like who's having a go at them, it's you're letting Man City off the hook by focusing on Arsenal losing a couple of games and drawing a couple of games. You know, if you go back to like the snooker analogy from earlier with the one having to do a 1-4-7, well, like, it's like Arsenal have potted like the first 7 reds and 7 blacks, and then they miss a red, and City just come to the table and just fucking clean up. And it's like, you know.
Yeah.
And they're going, look at that, you've missed the fucking red. I said, yeah, but they just potted like 7 reds, 7 blacks. They were perfect. And then one miss, and that just cost you, because like they just come to the table and clean up. That's the standards that you've got to be at to be able to win a league. Mm-hmm. Because City are just doing this every year. Once you get to like February, they just win every single game. And you've got to match it, and it's unrealistic to expect anyone to match it when they're operating under like financial fair play. You know, they'll sign someone for 100 million, and he'll sit on the bench for a year and not really do much, and then the next year he's like a key player. Who can afford to do that? You know, we're looking at like Darwin for 60 million, going, oh my God, he's not been an immediate success, because it is a thing for us. We can't afford to be spending money on players who are not like an immediate success in the team all the time. When that happens for us, there's question marks, and we're like, oh, is this going to work out? They do it all the time. Like, they spend money on players, and they might not have a great first season, but they've got time to just let him do his thing in the background, work on it, and then, you know, because Grealish has been fucking brilliant this year. He did nothing last year. He did absolutely nothing. He was a flop for the money that they paid and the expectations. But they can afford to just write that season off. Didn't matter, and look at him now. And you can do that when you're just not playing by the same financial rules as everyone else. You know, and I just feel sorry for Arsenal in the sense that people are giving them shit when really that's not the issue here. The issue is people should be looking at City and what they've done and what they continue to do. And people talking about the charges are from like 5 years ago or whatever. That's only because they stopped showing people their accounts 5 years ago. No one's got a clue what they're up to now.
That's also when they started the investigation.
Yes, when the investigation starts and they've gone back and they can't like go up to the present date because they're not letting anyone have access to anything. You know, all you need to do is look at Haaland's bank account.
That enabled them to. Well, it doesn't mean that it isn't having an effect. Look at the players that they signed that are still there during that time period that's in question, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's still major parts of that Man City infrastructure that they've since built upon where they have been charged with breaking the rules. That's got to be taken into consideration as well. It's a huge mess, and I feel for Arsenal fans from the same perspective that I feel sorry for ourselves, right? Like, these chances to win these leagues, this would have been the first in 19 years for Arsenal. We had to wait 30.
Yeah.
They don't come around very often, right? And there's a lot of heartache that's associated with it not going the way you want it to. So, like, who knows how long it's going to be now before they're this close again. It took us, after the Gerrard slip, it took us like 5 or 6 years to be back in the conversation again in terms of like actually being close to winning the thing. And then another couple of years after that before we actually did. So, it sucks. It fucking stinks, man. Like, the right teams aren't getting what they deserve because, and by extension, the fans aren't getting to enjoy those times as much because it's all so skewed. But I don't know.
No, that's spot on.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think we've covered quite a lot of stuff tonight. Wound you up a little bit more than was perhaps necessary, Dave. Is there anything you guys want to talk about before we call it a night tonight?
No, I just want to take some painkillers and go to bed. Not me toothache's better tomorrow.
All right. Well, make sure you edit this and get it live before you do. So,
no, I'm putting it out in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
I mean, it's 25 to 1 already. I've been out since first thing this morning. I played 18 holes of golf today. I've had to drive to Chester and back. Then I went straight to my dad's to watch the match. I've come back, I've recorded this. I'm going to bed, I'm fucked.
All right, fair enough. That's fair. Jules, are you okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed that podcast more than Dave did. Presumably, if his teeth are okay, he'll be back after the Villa game on Saturday for some reflections on that. Thanks to Dave and Jules for joining me tonight. But until then, we'll catch you soon.
The best word I can say, but will describe this, was boom. Woo, what was this? It was really good.